Okay, happy holidays, everyone. We had another lengthy break, but I hope you're well rested and ready for another learning session. We're going to jump right into today's lesson without much review. So if you have any questions on the terminology, go ahead and ask in the game chat or in the call mini chat, and I will do my best to answer those. Today we're going to be talking about the silver dapple gene, and silver dapple is represented by the letter Z. In your gene book, it has its own section. It's a dominant dilution gene that causes the dark colors to lighten. So if you think about cream really could only affect red pigment unless it was homozygous for cream. But the silver dapple kind of does the opposite. It will dilute the black color of the coat. So the black coat becomes lighter, and silver does not affect red. Black or bay horses with the silver dapple gene usually have a chocolate or a reddish brown coat color with a lighter silvery or grayish mane and tail. When a horse is homozygous for silver, it is possible that they can also have an eye abnormality, which can affect their vision. So, care should be taken to avoid breeding two silver horses together whenever possible. So, if you look up on our board, I have two silver dapple horses that we're going to breed together. Both of them have one silver gene and one recessive silver gene. So, if you look, when we combine these two, you have a possibility of a horse getting two dominant silver genes like this, and that horse would be affected by the eye abnormality. If you have a horse that has, like the parents, one dominant and one recessive, it would not be affected by the eye abnormality. And so you have two chances for horses like that when you breed this pair. Okay, and then you have one chance for a horse to not have silver showing at all. And I think I am forgetting to stream. I apologize. I will turn that on right now. I am recording, but did forget to stream. So give me just a second to go live with that. There we go. So if you're in the call and want to follow that, you can. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on those combinations or items? Check the chat. Okay. Now, there are a number of breeds of horses that often have silver dapples, such as Rocky Mountain horses. Rocky Mountain horse is a gaited breed that has a lot of silver dapple in its bloodlines. A lot of Shetland ponies can have silver dapple. Icelandic horses, Morgan horses, gypsy horses, lots and lots of breeds can carry the silver gene. So if we want to head outside, we'll take a look at how some of these silver dapple horses look in our genetic ponies. And I brought one special guest today. We'll get to him in a minute. All right, so I sorted them out this time based on the base coat color of the horse. So there won't be a lot of like questioning or quizzing here for what we're looking at. But in general, these two are examples of what silver does on a black base coat. And yep, we're passing out some books, so you're welcome to check the genetics on any of these horses. So if you pick one of these black ones, open it up, you'll see that we are dominant at extension. We are recessive at agouti, so these are a black base horse. And the one that I picked has one big Z and one little z. So he is heterozygous for silver dapple. The body coat is still a very dark color, but it is not the same as a full-on black coat. And then again, you have the very light mane and tail, which is the most common. When people think of a silver dapple horse, this is kind of what they think of, is light mane and tail with a dark body. You have a very similar look when you look at the gene on bay. Like with all genes, you can have darker examples and lighter examples. So here we have one that's more of a reddish body color and one that's more of the dark brown body color, but they're still both, should be both bay base, which will give you at least one dominant extension, one dominant agouti, and they should have at least one dominant silver dapple. And I'll go ahead and look at the other one just to compare. And it also has one big E, one big A, and one big Z. Silver bays also, people will often get, like, you take this darker one, for example, and people will sometimes have a hard time differentiating it from the black model. But usually you'll see some like lighter brown patches, like on the flanks and behind the arms, in the elbow area. And sometimes around the base of the muzzle will look a little lighter, so that can kind of help visually tell you the difference. But when in doubt, you can always do your testing to find out exactly what they have, which is, in our case, is using our books on them. Now, as I described in class, silver does not dilute or affect the red coat at all. So that's why this red silver horse doesn't look any different from a normal red. So we'll have a red base, which is the homozygous recessive extension, and then you have at least one silver dapple gene. But it really looks the same. It can carry the silver, which means if I was to breed this red mare to one of those, like a silver bay or a silver black stallion, I could potentially get the homozygous silver, or I could breed her to a solid black that doesn't have silver in it, and you could end up with like a silver black foal. And silver can also dilute any of the other combinations of genes. So now that you've gotten a feel for the initial base coats with silver, this one here is when you add black plus dun plus silver. So if we take a look at this one, I think that's the book. Yeah, that's the book. We have a black base with one dun and the silver. So a normal Bruya looks really kind of mousy gray, and this one almost has a brownish color to it, but it's still the black. And then it gets really distinct when you add it on a bay base. This one's almost starting to look palomino or buckskin in color, with its body color being so yellow, but it is still a bay base with the E and the A with a dun, which, remember, dun is a dilution gene, so that's diluting your color somewhat. And then silver is also a dilution gene on black, so it's diluting it even farther. And that's how we ended up with this shade on a bay base. And your red duns are going to look, you're in the wrong pin, my dear. This one ended up in the wrong spot. You belong over here. Come on, hop over that little fence. There we go. The red, again, isn't going to look any different from any other red dun horses, just because it is, again, the gene does not affect the red coat. We have any questions so far? None in here. I don't see any questions in the call. All right. Well, let's get these things a little bit even more complicated. So let's come on down here then. And we're going to start looking at what dun does when you add it to cream. So cream also, as we learned before, is a dilution gene. And so when you add the silver to a palomino, what do you think happens? Palomino is a what base? Yep, that's right, color. Nothing happens. And why is that? It's a red base, right? Silver does not affect red. So a red plus silver doesn't really make any change. So that means a cream, red with cream, wouldn't make any difference if you add silver. That is probably due to a gene we haven't discussed yet, which is tiger eye. And this horse happens to be homozygous for that gene, which is what gives it the blue eyes or the blue-gray eyes. Yes, they can still pass the gene on even if they don't have a coat that displays that color or that gene. I did not bring any double dilutes with silver, but again, they would follow the same rules depending on the base coat. And the thing is once you get into the double dilutes, and then even if you add more and more dilution to a double dilute, there's only a certain level of light colored whiteness that they can reach, and then they pretty much just look the same regardless. So this one here is a buckskin base. So if we look at this one, we have black, we have agouti, we have cream, which makes it a buckskin, and then you have silver. So the silver is, on a normal buckskin, what color is the mane and tail? Yes, on a normal buckskin, the mane and tail is black. This one could almost be passed off as a palomino because of the white mane and tail. So you have to kind of pay attention. You can see though the lower legs are still a little bit darker. They're not black, but they are darker than what you would see on a typical palomino. So this one gives you a silver buckskin. Um, it would tell you, it should say on page 5. It says that on page 5 in your book. The dorsal stripe, you'd want to go back and look at the done ones for the dorsal stripe. Buckskins don't always have dorsal. No, it's not death, Duck. What it does is it causes an eye abnormality that can cause blindness. And that's when you have two dominant silver genes on a single animal. All right, we're skipping the double dilutes. And then here we have a smoky black with silver. So it looks a lot like the other silver black, because a single cream on black doesn't affect that coat, because a single cream by itself doesn't dilute black. Therefore, a single cream on black with silver would pretty much look like a normal black with silver. Sometimes they have a little bit more brownish hue in the game, but in general, you don't really see any difference. So we've got extension, we've got no agouti, we've got a cream, and a silver. So that's our silver base horses. Any questions so far? No? All right. Shall we go see our special guest? So in our swim horses, we don't get to breed for colors like we can on the ponies, but we do have examples of lots of the different coat colors. So I brought my horse Eclipse, who is going to be either a silver black or a silver bay. I'm not quite sure which it's supposed to represent, but that is the swim representation of the silver gene. He's a good boy. Yeah, they give him these little stripy things on the back. And I think he might even be a like a dun. He might actually have dun and silver. He jumped up on your thing. It makes him almost look ribby, but it's just the way they detailed the coat. So yeah, smells like a horse. So that is our lecture today on silver. I really appreciate everyone's patience while we've been on a bit of a school break, so to speak. But now that the real schools are heading towards break, we'll hopefully get back into doing these more frequently and get through these colors. We've got still got a lot to go. We've got probably going to do champagne next, and then we'll get a couple of the unique colors in. And after that, I think we'll do champagne, and then we'll do a lecture with all the unique colors, and then we will do patterns. Yeah, I can do some private lessons on this stuff if you want. I also have been recording these videos, and they are all up on YouTube that you can review them. So I do appreciate everyone taking the time to come, and I will see you next time.